Gunshots, curfews, deaths and injury. The never-ending tragic tale of Boko has at least 4 more died in renewed chieftaincy conflict. A ban on the use of motorbikes has been reintroduced. Will be live in the town. On the controversial e-levy policy, the minority blames what it refers to as the finance minister's intransigent posture for the continued disagreement.
Right from the word go, the minority was prepared to make concessions. But the finance minister demonstrated a lot of intransigence. So, in his view, you either take it or you leave.
Meanwhile, the Convention People's Party says the e-levy has come to stay.
E-levy has come to stay. The digital cash is with us. But as to how much should be charged is the discussion that must go on.
We'll hear from them also on the Apiati explosion. Work on the new shelter for over 300 displaced persons is 80% complete. The Environmental Protection Agency assures it will finish with its air quality assessment by Wednesday.
We also did air quality analysis of this temporal place for resettlement to assure ourselves that since they are coming to occupy here in the few days, how is the situation like? How is the ambient basic conditions are?
And later in the bulletin, the girl who wants to take ballet to Ghana streets.
People don't really know about things outside them. So we have to also help them. It's not that we cannot help them. We can, so we should try and help them.
You surely don't want to miss that. In business, government describes positive investor reaction to proposed expenditure cuts as not surprising. We'll hear from the Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, Charles Eduboyin.
Much better appreciation of the potential fiscal impact and how the levy will work and so forth and so on. So I think it's always important to communicate, because I think it really helps in having people being able to make a very more informed judgment.
These are headlines for today's edition of Joy News Prime. We're live on DSTV, channel 421, GoTV 144. This is your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Stay tuned in for details. Hello again, my name is Ernest Minu. Thanks for choosing us. The Upper East Regional Security Council has placed a ban on the use of motorbikes within Boko and its environs with immediate effect. This comes in the wake of renewed chieftaincy clashes that has claimed at least 4 lives. Reports indicate that one of the deceased is a police woman who was on a visit in the area. The police is yet to make an official statement on this, but let's go on to the phone lines for some more on this developing story. We're joined by the Regional Minister, Stephen Yakubu. Thank you very much, sir, for your time here on Joy News Prime. What has informed the reintroduction on the ban on the riding of motorbikes?
Yeah, yesterday there were some shootings. Before that, I would like to say hello to all your listeners. Yesterday there were some shootings, and as you rightly said, 4 people died on that particular shooting. And then the police lady also died, and then another person died. So yesterday, 6 people died out of the shooting, and because of that, Westec met, and then we reviewed the situation in Boko, and we decided that we will ban motorbikes in Boko, and that's exactly what we did. And calm has returned to Boko. Boko is currently very calm.
Has there been a beef up of security in the area on the ground?
Yes, there is a beef of security. We have more security men, both police and soldiers. And as I've told you, we've re-strategized, and the place is very calm now. Remember that we have a curfew there already. So what we have done is just imposing the ban of motorbikes. So we have 3 things running there now, We have people are not wearing smokes, it's still in force. And then motorbikes, no one is to ride a motorbike, both men and women, and also the curfew.
Any arrest of particular persons you are looking out for?
I think that I'll leave that for the security services to answer that. But a lot of operations is actually taking place to be able to arrest the perpetrators.
Very well. Thank you very much for your time. That's the Regional Minister, the Upper East Regional Minister, Stephen Yakubu, joining us on this latest development in Boko. But our correspondent, Albert Sori, is there monitoring events, and he joins us. Albert, what is the mood in the town this evening?
Yes, Ernest. So it's just a few minutes to just less than an hour to curfew time. And as you would expect, because of what happened over the last 24 hours, a lot of people are already indoors. So the Boko Township is very quiet at the moment. It's been like that for most part of today, because the fears have been that the tension was escalating, especially so since the police have been quiet the whole of today. They haven't really spoken on the matter to reassure the general public of what the security measures are and all of that. So many people have been very cautious about their movement, and a lot of people have remained indoors for most of today. Besides the curfew, there's a ban on the riding of motorbikes. How are the residents reacting to this ban? Yeah, so as you heard the regional minister say, this was a ban that, was instituted before. Yeah. It took a very long time before they lifted it. They eventually lifted it for only the women, and then they lifted it completely somewhere around 2015. Now, because of what happened yesterday, the Regional Security Council has been forced to reintroduce this ban. Now, the motorbike is the commonest means of transport for most people in the Upper East region. So you would imagine that it will definitely affect movement. People who want to get to work will have to resort to other means of transport. But the ban doesn't include motor tricycles. So it may just become the next available resource to people who want to travel to and from work. But that also comes with its own challenges, because just like the trotro, you will have to drop somewhere along the line and walk a distance to where you are going. So it is not as convenient as having your personal motorbike, but this is something that people will have to learn to cope with. Already, there's a ban on the wearing of smock because of some security measures the police think this will help address. Now, how is that being complied with before the introduction of this new ban? Yeah, so the first time this recent tension started was November. Just the last year that passed in November. This was when we started having the recent tensions, and so that was around the time. It was around this time, that the Regional Security Council decided to ban the wearing of smock, because the smokes are normally used to conceal weapons when people wear them. So that is something that had already been in force, and people were complying. The riding of motorbikes being banned this time around is another new enforcement that the Regional Security Council have decided to institute in order to help maintain peace in Boko. So even though there are inconveniences, people will have no option but to comply. That's Albert Sori. He's our correspondent in the Upper East region, bringing us up to speed with the situation in Boko. From the Upper East region, let me take you to the Western region, because work on the new shelter for the over 300 persons displaced by the explosion at Apiate in the Western region is 80% complete, with finishing touches ongoing and final resettlement expected to happen on Wednesday. That's according to the Municipal Chief Executive of Prisia Huni Valley, Isaac Dasamani. In an interview with Joy News at the news site, he stated the new shelter is closer to the farmlands of the affected persons and also has better facilities. Maxwell Adubra was there in our report.
Western region. What is happening is that finishing touches to the works here. So what you can see behind me are extra tents that are going to serve as accommodation for the displaced persons. Over 300 people who were displaced by Thursday's explosion. You're told the building over there would also serve as accommodation. The tent would also serve as accommodation. And as I speak to you, there's a lot of works ongoing here to make sure that they finish right, very early so they can get the displaced persons to move in. Very soon, a meeting is about to start. In that meeting, we have the municipal chief executive in that meeting. We have the police in that meeting. We have the Environmental Protection Agency also in that meeting. And a lot surely is definitely going to happen. Let's get closer and speak to the municipal chief executive, Isaac Dasmani. Let's find out from him the stage or where we've gotten to now at this point. Is this place ready for the resettlement? Let's speak to him right now. Doc, you're welcome to Joy News.
Thank you.
Great. Doc, we've seen great work here so far, almost complete. About how many percent more to be done?
Oh, if you look at the work that they've done about 80%. Okay. And I'm sure by tomorrow we'll get the rest done. And then we'll make sure latest by Wednesday, maybe we'll move them here. Yeah.
So this will be the new place. Are you able to tell us what is available here for the display?
You can see that we have put up all the tents. We have a big structure there that can contain some of the victims. We have provided washroom down here. We've provided, that's the most important thing, the place of convenience. And then we are also going to rent some shed down there where they can do cooking. And then there are some extra more shed because you can see this one, there are 15 of them. And we have just erected 5. So, this one will even be enough for them, and then we'll continue expanding once they come in here. So, most of the time, it's better they move in here, you identify some of the minor problems and challenges, and then we'll deal with it.
I have the regional, the Takwa Environmental Protection Agency manager here with me. Let me find out from him. They've been doing some assessment on the ground. They've been doing some assessment on the ground at the community where the explosion happened. Let's speak to him and find out from him what they've been able to do so far. So, you're welcome to Joy News. Do so far on the ground, your assessment. What did you review?
Thank you very much. What we've done was, ever since the incident happened, we were here within 30 minutes of the incident. The president was here. We've been here on a daily basis. And on the Saturday, a team from the Environmental Quality Department of the head office was dispatched to the ground to at least assure ourselves of the environmental conditions of the place, whether it is conducive for resettlement or that we need to mitigate some environmental impact such as compromised air quality or soil or water quality. So the team has done that sampling and had sent the items to the samples to the lab for analysis. We also did air quality analysis of this temporal place for resettlement to assure ourselves that since they are coming to occupy here in the few days, how is the situation like? How is the ambient baseline conditions are? So that when they are here and they start to complain about at least ear health, respiratory disease, we know the quality here. So that we have also done.
3-year-old Beatrice Frimpong was playing with her baby sister when their building collapsed after the explosion. She survived the disaster, but her sister died after their house collapsed on them. Beatrice now has bruises on her face and other parts of her body. She is part of some women and children undergoing medical screening and psychological assessment at the St. Michael's Catholic Church, which is serving as a shelter for displaced persons.
didn't to sign or winner on an edane. Now, she has seen a job she in him.
A done the Jigonis.
Bachan.
A done the Jigonis.
A done the
body, her stomach. She says she went out. She actually went to town to find, some money for the family. And then when she came back, she saw this. You're told that this little girl was actually in the room, but the fire that followed the explosion is what has caused the bruises on her head, part of her head, and then part of her body.
The Minerals Commission has shut down Josidek Logistics Limited, situated at Biahu in the Western region. This because preliminary investigations into Thursday's explosion at Apiati has shown they were transporting the explosive for Maxam Company Limited. Josidek Logistics is a material transporting company for many mining firms in the country. The company has been shut down. There's more in the following report.
Following the directive by the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abujinapo, the Western Regional Inspector of Mines has, in accordance with an order from the CEO of Minerals Commission, shut down operations of Josidek Logistics Limited. A manager in charge of mines at the Western Regional Office of the Minerals Commission Frimpong says the closure has become necessary because investigations into the explosion at Apiate on Thursday shows that the vehicle transporting the explosives from Maxam belongs to Josidek Logistics Limited.
This afternoon, we came here to Josidek Logistics Limited at Biahu, which in the regulation we call prohibition notice. And our preliminary investigation has led us to get to know that although the explosives belongs to Mazam, the truck that was carrying the explosive belongs to Josidek Logistics Limited. That is the company that was transporting the explosives. And as a result of that, the Chief Executive Officer deemed it fit to extend the prohibition notice to Josidek for them to also hold the operations, for us to study into their operations, whether they have or they had followed the laid-down rules in transporting the explosives.
He says the shutdown of the entity is to pave way for further investigations. He added that the Minerals Commission has issued a prohibition notice to the company, barring them from undertaking any form of activities at sites. Joseph Frimpong says the outcome of the ongoing investigation will determine whether the company which transports mining materials to mining companies can resume operations or not.
I've just met their Chief Operating Officer, whom we are very much pleased, a lady, Madam Abigail Okanse, who has endorsed that yes, she has received a prohibition notice. With this, their company is to hold all the operations, all movement, any activity that they are doing until further notice. The investigation still goes on. We like to assure the nation, and especially the people of Apiati, that we, the mines inspectors, who are professionally trained to work on the explosives and any associated issues, will do everything possible to make sure that we unravel the circumstances that led to that explosion. The Minerals Commission, and for that matter, the Inspectorate Division, had really regulated the mining industry for all those years. And that is why there is a strict discipline and conformity to the regulations in the mining sector. Thank you.
Chief Operations Manager at Josidek Logistics Limited, Abigail Okanse, received and signed a prohibition letter on behalf of the company, but refused to make any comments. For Joy News, in Athalia Kwansa, Biahu, Western Region.
Let's do some other stories away from our Piatti and the explosion. We have a few hours to the beginning of the third session of the 8th Parliament. As you may know, the House rules on a very acrimonious note, condemned by many, all as a result of the passage of the controversial e-levy. There were promises to mend the bridge and make compromises before the House resumes to, among other things, ensure a smooth passage of the e-levy. But with just a few hours to go, there seemed not to be any sign of unity or compromise on the outstanding issues. The minority has reiterated its resolve to vehemently oppose the bill. They've been speaking at a town hall in Kumasi, from where Now Jima reports.
Speaking at the NDC town hall meeting in Kumasi, Elizabeth AkuffoYA says the levy will kill businesses in the country.
Yay NDC MPs, yebuya hopa. Yankoju obisika. Yenim se adwuma na eda yenim no eso chen sika ankrenkre bia betimi agi ahye ne bag. Ghana yie Ghana nkankro e na hiaye.
We members of parliament on the minority side are for the interest of the country. We can't be influenced by money, but we should bear in mind that a simple majority is needed for passage of the bill. So, if all the 138 members of majority are present on the day, the bill can be approved. But even if that should happen, we the NDC MPs have washed our hands off the e-levy and its consequences. It is a tax that will not do any good for the country. If gold, cocoa and other natural resources couldn't save us, will this do?
Cocoa anyonka e-levy bejonkwa. Enti die aban pese o kire se e-levy no nebeboa no.
The minority is proposing government consider retrieving the 12 billion cedis that was lost to corruption in 2020 as stated by the Auditor General's report to make up for the lost revenue. She further proposed a cut of government expenditures.
Auditor General's report, the year ending 2020, page 2. Auditor General akase Sikabro 12 billion cedis na yayira into ketasishe any enyoma oya emfata.
Over 12 billion cedis, according to the Auditor General, has been lost to corruption and irregularities. We will tell the government to go after the money, which is more than the projected revenue from the e-levy. Government will not get the projected amount since many will refuse to use the service when the bill is passed. Admitting government will get the projected amount cannot service corruption alone.
Na ye mechinchim ye maame mokon ye memiemia yensa enye 6.9 million only to finance corruption. The answer is no.
Member of Parliament Finance Committee John Abujinapo says the economy is on its way to a total shutdown if urgent measures are not put in place. He describes the economy as one on life support.
The size of your GDP does not pay your debt. It does not service your debt. It's the revenues. If you look at a country like Japan, their debt to GDP is about 100%. But because the interest rate is just about 1% or 0.5%, they are able to pay. And also they are able to generate revenue in order to pay. So this 80% we are seeing is just a tip of the iceberg. Go and look at our total revenue, or more importantly, our tax revenue. Then you will get to know that this country is indeed on the path to a total shutdown and a total collapse. It's very serious. And anybody who is sincere and looks at our figures will tell you that this economy is just on life support. And sooner than later, if nothing is done to correct all these measures, the Ghanaian economy would face imminent and total collapse.
Mr. John Jinapo says increases in some taxes and levies have failed to rescue what he calls a failing economy.
These are taxes are bound way at 2021 countries say you treat as a tax yina bibia ebeko yamai. Countries say Ghana for mon sacrifice maye. Mon tighten mobiles maye. because the economy was on a turnaround. Sana Minister of Finance, Ghanaians complain. Ghana for be complaining about. You can say nyahwe. Some say you draw you know. Na say you humber toya 2021 you benum. 2021 abe endewi. Afe 11 is free for you. I think that's the question we ought to be asking the finance minister and his team. So despite all these sacrifices, why do you want to implement the e-levy?
For Joy News, Nana Yaojima Kumasi.
The minority in parliament is blaming the finance minister, AkuffoYA, for the impasse over the electronic transaction levy. The minority argues that Mr. AkuffoYa's intransigent posture and his refusal to make concessions led to the chaotic scenes in the chamber. Ranking member on the Defense and Interior Committee, James Agalga, called for fresh negotiations to ensure that the two caucuses agree on the way forward. His call comes on the back of a similar call by the Speaker of Parliament, asking government to build consensus with the minority to ensure effective running of government business in the House.
And I think that the only way, as he himself said, was to get the two sides to consult more, to dialogue, to cooperate with each other, to compromise, to collaborate, and to achieve consensus. This is an imperative imposed on us, political leaders, by the people of Ghana. We have no choice. And so, when the other side fails to gather their numbers, and a decision doesn't favor them, the Speaker cannot be the cause. Because the Speaker is not counted among members of Parliament. I am not a member of Parliament in Ghana. The Speaker is not, and that is what we opted for. You just don't come in and say, because I'm the party in power, or I'm the individual who is the executive president. This is what I want. No more, no less. I say this clearly, not just from my experience, but from the knowledge of the option we took as a country. It is possible in Ghana to have a government with minority members of Parliament. And it is possible in Ghana to have an independent person being president of Ghana. That's the legal framework we crafted for ourselves. And so if we don't learn this and imbibe this culture of give and take, of jojo, of trying to look at the national interest, but look at parochial party interests, then our democracy will definitely not succeed. And it's not the prayer of anybody, at least with those who have experienced other systems of governance, that there should be some backsliding of our system.
We can now hear from James Agalga, who insists the misunderstanding in Parliament may give rogue elements the platform to undermine the country's democracy.
Happenings in Parliament in the last meeting clearly was a recipe for disaster so far as this particular democratic experiment is concerned. And so the earlier we did something, a way of building consensus, the better for all of us. Look, if we continue to present ourselves as people who can build consensus, we would be calling on, if you like, rogue elements to take advantage of the situation and make false claims that this democratic experiment has failed. Already happenings in the sub-region, I mean, it's very alarming. It's very, very alarming. And so we don't want to give rogue elements the impression that this particular fourth Republican democratic experiment is on the brink of failure. And so the call for consensus building is very, very, very crucial for me, speaking from the security point of view. But having said that, we need to call a spade a spade. We have two parties that make up the current parliament, the 8th parliament, and one independent member of parliament. And what is at stake is the e-levy debate. E-levy. The minority has shown a lot of good faith and goodwill so far as consensus building is concerned.
As members of parliament ready themselves to debate the controversial e-levy policy Tuesday, chairperson and leader of the Convention People's Party, Nana Akufo-Addo, says government's proposed e-levy policy is inevitable and is here to stay. She, however, believes the suggested 1.75% rate to be charged is, quote, ridiculously high, and she's called on government to take a second look at it.
Basically, for me, the e-levy, I know what I'm going to say, which is not going to be what most people want to hear. But e-levy has come to stay. The digital cash is with us. But as to how much should be charged is the discussion that must go on. But the fact that any government is going to use electronic way of collecting money from people or from its citizens in any payment or in any form, I hope becomes the future. Let me put it that way. What is going on in Parliament is clearly, I'm sorry, a Parliament that is there to it's a partisan Parliament. It's there to represent its party. You can say e-levy, I believe, is not going to just be taken out. Even if it gets out, it's only be temporary. The pricing is too much. 1.75 is just ridiculously high. Already the telephony companies or whichever companies that own the payment platforms have been cheating us for years. The 1% that we pay for every movement of money should have been addressed years back. But for government not to have addressed that and expect that they will add more, I believe that when they address that, they will be able to address the e-levy. As for e-levy, using the e-levy method as a way of collecting taxes, I believe it's the future. I believe it's about the easiest way for them to do. But how much, the percentage, and the timing is not the best.
It's now time for fact-checking, and today we put a spotlight on Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta's claim on Ghana's economic growth at a recently held press conference on the e-levy. Joseph Akabley of our research desk has more on these claims and the verdicts.
Let's start with the Finance Minister's claim on the average growth rate of the economy between 2017 to 2019 and that of 2016.
Marked by an annual average of 7% economic growth rate between 2017 and 2019 from the 3.4% inherited in 2016.
This is mostly true. According to Ghana Statistical Service National Account data on annual GDP, Ghana's economy indeed grew at 3.4% in 2016. Again, the average growth rate in the period under review was 6.93%, as indicated by the same data source. Let's now hear the minister's claim on stabilizing economic growth.
Stable growth, average of 5.3% between 2017 and 2020.
This is completely true. According to the Ghana Statistical Service annual GDP data, the average annual GDP growth for Ghana between 2017 and 2020 was indeed 5.3%. The finance minister also made claims about growth rates under the previous administration.
These have been the hallmarks of our administration compared to an average GDP growth of 3.94%.
This is mostly true. Real GDP growth for the period under review was 3.925%, according to the Ghana Statistical Service National Account data on annual GDP for 2013 to 2020.
Still to come here on Joy News Prime, the girl who wants to take ballet to Ghana's streets.
The about things outside them. So we have to also help them. It's not that we cannot help them. We can, so we should try and help them.
And in business, government describes as positive investor reaction to the proposed expenditure cuts as not surprising. We'll hear from the Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, Charles Edubwai.
Appreciation of the potential fiscal impact and how the levy would work and so forth and so on. So I think, it's always important to communicate, because I think it really helps in having people being able to make a very more informed judgment.
You're welcome to Business. I'm Charles Aite. Government has described the positive investor reaction to proposed expenditure cuts as expected. The Finance Minister, AkuffoYA, has announced a 20% cut in expenditure estimates starting from this quarter. Speaking at a news conference on the post-investor virtual engagement, the Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, Charles Edubwai, noted that the development shows that their concerns were not based on the fundamentals of the economy.
Regardless of whether the revenue materializes or not, we are cutting expenditure by 20%. So every quarter, when we do our budget allotments, we'll do the resource envelope we provide to the MMDAs will be 20% less than usual. And the 20% is informed by the nature of our expenditures. There are quite a lot of rigidities in our expenditure budgets. You can't cut interest expense and you can't cut compensation. Those are two. You also have statutory payments and transfers which are automatic, essentially, DACF, Get Fund, and so forth and so on. You can't cut those either. So that then limits the amount in there that is flexible, and that's what informs the 20% cut that we've announced. Now,
well, we'll still stay with the Minister of State for Finance, Mr. Edubwai, because he insists the e-levy will by close of the week be approved in Parliament when presented. This, he believes, is due to the broader stakeholder consultation done so far.
Engaged all stakeholders. We've engaged the telcos, we've engaged our brothers across the aisle, and we've engaged, citizens of Ghana. We've been, all traveling over the holidays, and we listened to what the people had to say. So we are very positive that when we go back to Parliament this week, we'll get the e-levy approved and we can start to implement it. It's a key government policy and it's a key part of our budget.
Meanwhile, the Chamber of Commerce and Industry has indicated that the trade and business community was not involved in any broader consultation on the 1.75% e-levy, as stated by the Minister of State, Charles Edubwai. Here's an excerpt of a press statement just released and signed by the President of the Chamber, Clement Osei-Amoako. It reads in excerpt that we're concerned that the burden sharing and consultation was done without representation from the trade and business associations whose constituents in that particular nature, are going to be greatly affected by this policy. It goes on to state that at the onset of the policy announcement, the GNCI called on governments to reconsider the rate of 1.75% as it will further worsen the plight of businesses, particularly SMEs who are mainly, growth driven in this particular, respect, citing industry volatility and economic cycles. Government insistent, it further goes on to say, on maintaining the rate at the 1.75% does not augur well for businesses, especially those who are recovering from the shocks of the pandemic amidst high costs of doing business in the country. This is a statement from the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry responding to claims by the Ministry of Finance that they have been consulted. Well, we'll still stay with the e-levy because without the implementation of the controversial levy to shore up revenue and improve the fiscal economy, the country's international bonds will continue to attract high interest rates, which will consequently trigger increased interest payments and devastating effects on the economy. That's the view of an economist and senior lecturer at the Economics Department of the University of Ghana, Dr. Edu Sarkodie. Take a listen to his argument.
The arguments are just emotional. They are sentiments. Most of them are just playing to the gallery. Let us have intellectual discourse over this e-levy transaction. I support it. If you are talking about the fact that government should be prudent in its management, I agree. Not only respect to the mobile money, but respect to any other revenue that has been raised in the economy. Prudent management of the economy is an important ingredient. We cannot go beyond that. What are the other sources of raising revenue? If I look at all the other sources of raising revenue, none of them can happen within this short time, like in 3 to 6 months. None of them. I can see property rates giving us 7 billion in like 1 year. I cannot see tax exemptions, which I am not saying that I am against all these sources of revenue. I am in support of the other sources of revenue. But the point I'm making is that in the immediate term, this other source of revenue will not give us the revenue that government is looking for. It will take time. I can't see tax exemptions, property rate, the natural resources giving us 7 billion over in the next 1 year. All this will take time. If government doesn't take the e-levy, what are the consequences? The consequences are that, based on Fish and Bloomberg ratings, government will be denied access to the international capital market. The option is that government will have to come domestically and borrow here at a high rate and crowd out the private sector who need the funds for industrial revolution, for industrial growth. The second option is for government to seek bilateral, multilateral, or syndicated loans. And as of now, many countries are also in difficulties, so I don't see that option viable. The next option, which many people don't want to talk about, is the IMF program. And we all know that borrowing from IMF is different from seeking an IMF program.
Bit for business, we have sports coming up. Do stay with us. Hello, good evening, and welcome to the sports segment live here on the Joy News Prime with me, Oreku Ampofo. Nigeria Football Federation President Amaju Pinnick has entreated Ghanaians to get behind Ghana Football Association boss Keto Kweku and his administration despite the country's recent struggles, notably the elimination of the Black Stars from the ongoing Africa Cup of Nations in Cameroon. Ghana got booted out of the tournament at the group stages, failing to win a single game for the first time in the history of the competition. Pinnick still believes the slump is one of the bad days in Ghana football.
Under a lot of pressure. I know Court lost Ghana. It lost to develop the game to the highest level. And I think it should be supported. You see, in life, you have your bad day and your good day. This is just one of the bad times of Ghana. They just qualified for among the 10 teams to go to the World Cup. It's not as against South Africa. You know, they did very, very well. So it's not just one bad moment that they will crucify him. Because if you keep doing that, you keep crucifying administrators. Court is somebody that is so loved by all his colleagues, A to Z. I never wanted to play Ghana because of Court. I'm telling you, I never wanted to play Ghana. You know, but people should look at Court as somebody that has been able to galvanize that love for Ghana once again. And they should respect that. I'm talking very seriously. You know, as a council member representing the Anglophone, I will intend to go to Ghana and see how we can help. If possible, how we can help to take it to the next level. It is not easy. You see Ghanaians working in FIFA and CAF today. It's because of Court. You have the director of finance. People should understand, yes, people should understand a lot of things going on. So I just feel bad when I saw a letter from the ministry saying XYZ. Did he keep the money in his pocket? No.
Well, away from football, because defending champion South Africa beat Egypt 3-1 on penalties in the 2022 Hockey Africa Cup of Nations to keep the coveted trophy for an 8th consecutive time. Joy Sports' Benar Elom has the details in the following report.
The 11th edition of the African Cup of Nations tournament ended with South Africa and Egypt's men's team being by far the best two teams in the tournament. The much-anticipated final had a frantic start from both sides, who were all hungry to win the ultimate in Ghana. South Africa took the lead in the first quarter, but Egypt found an equalizer in the second quarter. After a cagey 60 minutes of action, the match had to be decided on penalties, and in the end, it was South Africa who won 3-1 in the shootout to claim their 8th consecutive title. Head coach of the South Africa team, Gareth Ewing, was elated by the victory.
Very much. It was a really tough game. My guys just stayed in it all the way till the end, and they were brilliant in that shootout. So well done to them. I'm so proud of them.
After winning the tournament in the men's division, the South Africa female team replicated the men's successes by also beating Ghana to win their 7th consecutive title. Ghana, who is yet to win the tournament, gave the defending champions a run for their money, but in the end, the quality from the 7-time winners was just too much for the Ghanaian side to cope with. Captain of the performance.
We played according to structure and we wanted to come out and win, and that's exactly what we did.
Captain of the Ghana female team, Umaru Nafisatu, on the other hand, was disappointed with the defeat, but was proud of the effort her team put in against the defending champions.
We did our best. You could see that the goal that went in, the first goal was a deflection from our old stick. The second one was a rebound, which we didn't act well, and then the other one, you can see that it's from officiating official. She played an advantage and then took a penalty. This which another penalty stroke, which it was a bad call, really too. But I think we can do better and then we do well, and we have to go back well and home work well and then do well.
The South African men's team now qualified for the World Cup in India, which kicks off on January 2023, while their female counterpart will also represent the continent in Spain and the Netherlands from July 1 to July 17. Benaya Elom, Dafiamepo, Joy Sports.
Well, in terms of the Africa Cup of Nations, the host nation Cameroon are currently in action. First 45 minutes done, and they lead Comoros by 1-0. Comoros themselves are playing with 10 men after an early red card, and they also have their left back in goal because of injuries and COVID-19 to their goalkeepers that they took to the tournament. But that's how we wrap up the sport here. My name is Oriku Wampofo.
I know you've been waiting for this, and she's here already. Becky, Lady in Red.
Hello to you.
How are you?
I'm fantastic. By the grace of God, I'm doing well.
The grace of God abounds.
Yes, and by the grace of God, MOG is doing well.
Absolutely.
He was on The Reason is Jesus.
Jesus, yeah, yesterday.
No, it was on Sunday.
It was on Sunday.
Sunday's yesterday.
Sunday's yesterday, Becky. Hello.
Forgive me, everyone.
Hello.
So he's been talking about his journey to stardom, how he started off as a drummer in church.
Okay.
And, you know, here we are. He's won many awards. He's featured on so many songs and all of that. Here is Emoji, everyone.
No, I didn't see it coming. I was just doing what I love, you know, serving the Lord. I'm exhibiting my gift in the house of the Lord and in the kingdom. And then through that, elevation came. So if I'm to tell you that I had a clear-cut plan that today I'll be where I am today, I'll be lying. I was just doing what I love in the house of the Lord, and through that, the elevation came. So I actually started as a drummer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I started as a drummer. I had no plans for singing. You know, I was a drummer. And then through the drumming, I think one of the Sundays at the junior service church, the praise and worship leader didn't show up. And the Sunday school teachers were like, who's going to lead worship days? I was like, this thing this guy's video, I can do it too. Let me give it a try. So I said, let me try. So out of frustration, they gave me the opportunity. Oh, wow. So it was like, you know, I was, you know, they had nobody, so they had to stick me like that. And I did okay, you know. So from then I realized that, you know, I had a gift, and one of the teachers was like, you know, you have to keep pushing because I can see you becoming great through this, you know. So I just kept pushing, you know, support from people who had already gone ahead, and the rest is history.
I love the song.
Yeah.
Somebody was singing the song this morning. So, yeah. Over the weekend, Shatta Wale was, you know, all over the place on social media.
I think it's still trending.
Yeah, guess what? Because he has finally found love. The lady that was named Elfrida, apparently, you know, they've been doing it for some time now. But he decided that he will show off his beautiful lady to the rest of the world. Shatta Wale says that the lady who is called Elfrida is the queen of his future. That's how, yeah. So for those of you who, you know, out there still thinking.
So is she now, well, queen of her future?
Yeah.
But is she now the queen of dance hall too?
Of course, the lady doesn't sing. We're looking forward to what she
or the queen of the Shatter movement.
Queen of Shatter movement. It used to be Michi. Now we have a new queen for the SM family. There's a new queen called Elfrida. Hopefully, we don't really have much about this.
Much information. Becky, you should be digging. Next time you come, you should tell us more.
Shatawale won't tell me anything about. I mean, sometimes people want to keep all these things, you know, secret. But well,
let's see how it goes. Thank you, Becky. But ballet, the Italian dance first introduced in Europe around the 1500 AD. It's very unpopular in most parts of Africa, especially here in Ghana. But it is largely a preserve of the affluent and the privileged. One young woman wants to break that trend and help disadvantaged children learn the dance. My colleague Justice Bedu went to see her train and sent us this report.
I would get hit and I'll not be able to do it again. When you see me dance, people say it's very, very nice, that they would want to learn it. Yes. Since childhood, I had it in me. I was always working on my toes, splitting and stuff.
And Solomon is my name. I'm a dancer, a choreographer, and I'm the CEO of Royal Ballet Dance Academy. 3, 2, 1. I'm teaching ballet because I love the dance. I really love ballet. So it was once a time that a friend introduced me to the dance. I told him that, Charlie, this dance is hard though, because this looking at the children splitting, raising their leg. Hey, Charlie, this one there, I can't teach. The other hand, can do the other leg up, roll up. Third position. For me, my dream is to see even the children on the street to dance ballet. Because ballet, the children are loving it, trust me, they are loving it, but the finances are down for the parents to enroll because it's quite expensive. But my dream is to make it low for every child in Ghana to practice ballet, like the way the rich kids are doing. Slowly together, again, down, okay? Last one, down, and up. Stretch the leg to the side. Please hold the bar, stretch the leg to the side. And hand into the bar, outside the bar. Make sure you don't touch the wall and raise it. When your child joins ballet, they gain confidence, they become bold in public, but some of the children are timid. I've had a lot of experience on that. I've met several children that when they even see you, they be hiding. But through my lessons, now when they even see you, they want to come and hug you now and smile at you. Back row.
I've always wanted to be a dancer. I think this is my chance to go and learn.
So you want to learn?
Yeah, ballet.
Okay, so I'll call Justice Bedu to take you.
Okay.
The next time we'll leave the entertainment segment just for you to perform for the audience.
Definitely.
All right.
Thank
so it's a deal.
Yeah, Justice, call me.
Thank you, Becky, for bringing us Showbiz. That's it for Showbiz. We have more stories for you. Please stay with us. At least 12 people have been confirmed dead after Kia Rhino truck they were traveling on was involved in an accident at Sevelugu in the northern region. The truck, the police say, was carrying over 33 mourners returning from a funeral. The fatal accident, according to the police, occurred at Sebelugu Zungu. The Northern Region Crime Officer speaks for the police.
Yesterday at about 1:10 p.m. of 23rd January 2022, there was a motor accident around Sabelugu. A Kia Rhino truck, I was carrying some mourners, more than 33 of them, going to a funeral or probably returning from a funeral, got involved in an accident around Zogu on the Sabelugu Main Road, where the driver was trying to negotiate a curve. About 6 people died on the spot. Later on, 4 people died when they were taken to Sabelugu Hospital for treatment. Others were sent to the Tamale Teaching Hospital for further medical attention. The information we gathered was that the truck that was carrying about 33 persons, most of them mourners who probably were returning from a funeral, were involved in that fatal accident, as the driver indicated that he was trying to avoid knocking a cyclist on the road who was on phone whilst riding a bicycle. All of a sudden crossed his lane, and in an attempt to avoid knocking him, he lost control and then the vehicle somersaulted, finally landed in a bush. It landed on its side with all the tires up. You can imagine a Kia Rhino truck which was not having any seat anywhere. They were all hanging on the bucket, that large bucket, and this vehicle that swayed from one lane to the other in an attempt to control it, finally landing on the human beings. That tend to be I don't know how to describe it, but something that we don't want the media or the public to see. It was just an eyesore, so terrible such that people were thrown off the road, and in a way that we were all saddened. Exactly that is what happens on the Sabelugu Road. Any question?
So currently, what number of deaths? Has there been any death after they've been taken to the hospital? How many people were taken to the hospital out of the yesterday period? We know 6 died on the spot, 4 died later on. How many were taken to the hospital? Or how many are currently receiving
Of course, what actually happened was that those who died on the spot, the 6 of them were taken away before police got there, and some of them, they believe in saying that once the person is dead, they don't want any kind of post-mortem afterwards. So before police was alerted to the place, they already took the 6 away, and the 4 that died later on in the hospital. And of course, if there are 33, then we subtract 6 from them. We have the number somewhere 27, probably taken to the hospital, and then 4 dying. We even understand that 2, but that is not confirmed. But we pray that the number which is left are taken care of. So we can say that about 10. But the other 2 that we are being told, we haven't yet confirmed it.
Our Northern Region correspondent Martina Bugui joins us on the line with an update on this. Martina, so we know that 12 dead. What is the state of the 21 others who are on that bus?
We are told that 10 were confirmed dead earlier, and then 2 this evening we are told passed, so making the number 12. Those who are on admission, we are told, are doing well, though some are still in critical condition, but most of them are much better than they were brought in yesterday, towards this morning, I should say, because it happened around 2 a.m. we are told. And so most of them are doing very well compared to how they came in. And those who are in critical condition are being monitored also. We are told that they are stabilized and they are believing that they would come out.
Do we know if the families of these of the deceased have already shown up at the various hospitals or the morgue?
You know, it happened almost at the Savilugu township, and so these are people who traveled from Savilugu out for the funeral, and they were returning, and so their families were actually some at the accident scene, and some who had their relatives on board joined to the hospital, where they are currently with their relatives at the hospital.
For police investigations, who is being detained? Any arrest? Any prosecutions?
We are told that no one has been arrested yet, but investigations are ongoing, and they would get us the details as soon as they come up with something concrete.
Thank you very much, Martina, for bringing us an update on that accident on the Savilugu Road. Let's go up north to the Upper West region because the regional director of the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, DVLA, Zume Thomas, has disclosed that out of a total of 1,214 clients who took part in the theory test in the region, 32% of them failed. In the same breath, 19% of the 988 persons who took part in traffic tests also failed. The Upper West Region Office, however, made some marginal gains in their financial transactions. Zume Thomas made the disclosure during a whistle-stop visit of the region by the board members of the DVLA. Here's Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam's report.
Upper West Regional Director of the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, DVLA, Zume Thomas, briefing board members of the DVLA their operations, revealed that 68% and 81% of clients who took part in terror and traffic tests, respectively, in the year 2021, passed.
Our terror test, not all terror exam must qualify automatically. We made 1,240 passes and then failed 522. That 32% and 68. If you look at it, the chart, the demonstration is clear, 32% and then the 68%. In traffic test, we had 988 and 81, that's 81%, and the fail is 232.
Zume Thomas spoke of the financial gains made in their operations in the last 3 years.
We look at 2019, we made 727,920. In 2020, we grew marginally to 793,320.50. In 2021, we had 877,222. That is for road fund. If you look at the variance between the years 19, 20, and 21, is 84,404.50, a growth of 11%. Our licensing duties, one of our operational areas. In 2019, we made 574.485. In 2020, it shot up to 807,827.70. And in 2021, it went to 587,363. If you look at the variance, it's 50,538,50, a growth of 6.26%.
Interacting with staff of the authority, board chairman of the DVLA, lawyer Frank Davis, noted that due to the efficient, effective and professionalism exhibited by staff of the DVLA, it is touted as one of the foremost institutions in the country, evident in the number of awards back over the last few years.
That you, the staff and the employees all over Ghana, have now understood the work ethics, discipline, and culture of service that this authority prides itself for. We are no longer in the league of corruptible institutions. We stand tall. And so far, we have chalked a lot of successes and have won coveted trophies.
Deputy Chief Executive Officer of DVLA in charge of financial services, Kwame Appiah Kubi, opined that due to innovation, technology, they have been able to minimize the activities of middlemen, popularly known as Goro boys.
I think we believe that the issue of Goro, we can solve it with technology. So if you've seen how we've actually improved or improve our services through IT, now it will come to a time that there wouldn't be anything for you to do. We know with IT we'll be able to solve this issue, and you can testify that now with Goroism it's better than before. And now I wouldn't say that we've completely eliminated it, but you see with few time or few years to come, you see that if it's not removed, it will become a very minimal. So with technology, we are going to solve the issue.
Reporting for the news, Rafik Salam. Wow.
Now, Wilma Ghana Limited, producers of fried or cooking oil and Fortune Rice, has launched a promotion to reward its loyal customers in the wholesale sector. Dubbed Wholesalers Vacation Papebi, the promotion would run for 4 months and offer hundreds of wholesalers an all-expense-paid trip to a European country.
This is so beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together for Wilma Africa Limited.
The wholesalers of Wilma Ghana will be given monthly shopping vouchers of 2 million Ghana cedis for the 4-month promo period. Speaking at the promo launch in Kumasi, Head of Trade Marketing Patrick Sapong said the promo is to show gratitude to wholesalers who have remained loyal to the company over the years. According to him, every wholesaler is a winner.
For the past 4 years, we've been running this promo for our wholesalers across the country, and it has been successful because we value their importance to our business. And we then decided that we need to encourage them. We need to also motivate them, especially in these difficult times where we find ourselves. So we then decided to launch this promo called Wholesalers Vacation Papebi promo, which is running from January to April of this year. Every wholesaler who deals in food, especially oil, which is fried or vegetable cooking oil, sunflower oil, our Fortune Rice, as well as our sunflower pouch, who deals in that as a wholesaler qualifies to be part, irrespective of where you find yourself in Ghana.
Mr. Sapon said the promo would also afford customers the opportunity to tour the company's facilities across the country to better appreciate its operations. Wilma Ghana believes businesses that are sustained are the ones that drive a win-win partnership with all its stakeholders, including wholesalers, retailers and consumers.
We believe that not all the wholesalers are of equal strength. So we have wholesalers who will do about 400 cuttings in total. And every single month when they are able to do that, we give them shopping vouchers. Then we have the option 2, which is around 900 cuttings in total with the rice. And also when you're able to achieve that, we give you shopping vouchers every month. Then the last option, which is about 1,950 in cuttings, you also then and after that we will select the top performing wholesalers across the country. We can have, let's say 100, let's say 200, let's say 50.
And that's it for Johnny's Prime. Many thanks for your company. Please log on to myjoyonline.com. We have many stories there. Enjoy the rest of our programs. I'm Ernest Mili.